Karen's voice cut through the air like glass. "Officer. That man is suspicious. He's carrying bags that clearly aren't his." The world seemed to freeze in the bright suburban afternoon as Marcus, her black neighbor, turned slowly, groceries dangling from his arms, his jaw tight with disbelief. What? All this, because he was walking home? "Ma'am, I live here," Marcus said, his voice calm but edged with exhaustion, as though he had repeated this defense 1,000 times before. The plastic bags rustled against his knees, oranges rolling inside like tiny drums echoing his rising pulse. Karen folded her arms, her tone dripping with smug certainty. "I know what I saw. He doesn't belong here." A police car pulled up with lights flashing, red and blue strobing across neatly trimmed lawns. Neighbors peeked from behind blinds, whispers hissing like cicadas in the late sun. Marcus's stomach twisted. How quickly could peace be shattered? He set the bags down with a heavy sigh, his shoulders sinking as the officer approached. "Sir, can we talk?" The scene teetered like a tightrope. Karen's smirk widened, victory practically glowing on her face. "This is it," she thought, "finally, someone will believe me." But Marcus inhaled sharply, lifted his chin and pointed toward the security cameras mounted on the lamppost. "Check the footage before you make assumptions." His words rang out like a bell, sharp and commanding. The officer raised a brow, glancing at Karen, then at the camera. Silence hummed. Karen's face flickered, just for a second, with something uneasy. She laughed nervously. "Oh, cameras? Perfect. That'll show what he's been up to." Her voice cracked slightly, betraying a tremor. The officer nodded. "We'll review it." Hours later, as evening shadows stretched across the neighborhood, the truth bled onto the monitor in the station. Footage played, Marcus, sweat on his forehead, juggling grocery bags, humming softly as he walked home. Nothing suspicious. Then, click. A figure appeared. A familiar haircut. A floral blouse. Karen herself, glancing around before sliding a box of cosmetics into her oversized tote at the local store. Another clip, Karen at the grocery aisle, slipping wine bottles under her sweater. A sickening beat of silence. "What?" Marcus whispered, leaning closer, his heart pounding with disbelief. Karen's theft played out in vivid clarity. The officer exhaled through his teeth. Karen's voice, shrill in the background, sputtered, That's not me. That's doctored." But her face, her hands, her mannerisms, every detail screamed her guilt. Marcus let out a bitter laugh, short and sharp. "So I'm the criminal for carrying my own groceries, but you're the one stuffing half the store into your bag?" His words sliced the air like knives. Karen's face went pale, her lips trembling. "This isn't fair. He's setting me up." "No," the officer said firmly, eyes narrowing. "The camera doesn't lie." The room buzzed with electricity, tension snapping between them. Karen's chest rose and fell in shallow bursts, her eyes darting wildly, searching for a lifeline. Neighbors who had gathered murmured among themselves, the hum of betrayal in their voices. Someone gasped audibly, "She called the cops on him while she was stealing." The betrayal cracked through the air like thunder. Karen's facade crumbled. Tears welled, but they looked more like desperation than regret. "You don't understand, I didn't mean," she stumbled over her words, her confidence dissolving into raw panic. The officer's radio squawked with static, adding to the chaos of her unraveling. Marcus stood taller now, his chest expanding, strength radiating from his calm rage. "How many times have you lied, Karen? How many times have you made people like me feel unsafe in our own homes?" His voice rose, cracking with pain, every syllable striking like a hammer. She flinched as though each word physically hit her. And then, the twist no one saw coming. Another clip appeared. Not just shoplifting. Not just Karen sneaking wine. Footage from the neighborhood association meeting last month, Karen swapping donation envelopes, slipping cash into her purse. Gasps exploded in the room. Her crimes weren't just petty, they were systemic. Karen's knees buckled and she gripped the table for support. The smug woman who once barked orders and threats now looked small, cornered, devoured by the weight of her own actions. "Please," she whispered, voice ragged, "don't ruin me." But the ruin was already written. Marcus turned, his eyes glistening but fierce. "You ruined yourself." The officer's cuffs clicked shut around Karen's wrists, the sound metallic and merciless. She whimpered, her face twisted in disbelief. How had the hunter become the hunted? As the patrol car door slammed, neighbors stepped out from their houses, their voices overlapping in a chorus of judgment. "Karma," someone muttered. Finally. The sound of footsteps, murmurs, even a laugh or two, washed over the street like waves. Karen's cries, muffled behind the glass, faded into the distance. Marcus bent down, picked up his groceries and exhaled. The oranges shifted, one rolling onto the pavement, spinning in lazy circles before settling near the curb. He chuckled softly, shaking his head. All that chaos over groceries. But the bitter aftertaste lingered. He knew the scars of humiliation would stay long after Karen's downfall. Neighbors watched him differently now, some with shame, some with newfound respect. Still, the truth had been revealed, justice delivered, though the sting of the accusation clung like smoke after fire. And Karen? Her name whispered through the suburb, not with fear, but with disgrace. Once the accuser, now the accused. Once the voice of false authority, now silenced by her own undoing. The lawsuit Marcus filed against her would echo far beyond that street, her reputation shattered, her arrogance dismantled, her story a bitter warning carved into the community's memory. So the next time someone yells, points, or accuses, maybe, just maybe, the world will pause and ask, who's really telling the truth here?